Hello, Internet people. Welcome to another exciting edition of me learning how to write some Haskell code and sharing it on the internet. Last week I was looking at the parser again. So I added some extra instructions to the VM to, well, kind of to use local variables, but more importantly to be able to call functions. That's what I want to get into my calculator. And I need to go back to the parser now and add the front end side of these things, front end from a compiler's point of view. So I need to add some extra syntax for variables because we've added that, and also for defining and calling functions. So I started writing some of the parsing logic for local variables last time, which introduced a little bit of problem with it's a new concept of having statements rather than just having expressions in the language. But I got that working, but it's kind of useless now, so you can't parse multiple lines, which means you couldn't define a variable and then use it again. So I'm gonna start by looking at that, so try and get to a day where we can parse multiple things. And if I've got time, I'll come back and look at functions as well and see if we can work out a syntax for functions and parse that. I'm still not good at writing parsers. This hasn't changed in the last week. So this might be a bit of a struggle, but hopefully it goes okay. I was just going to start by recapping a little bit. So the compiler itself, or the calculator itself, I guess, it's calling run, which is in the VM. I think it's in the VM. Yeah, it's in the VM. You can see it here. So it's calling run, which is the same thing as we were using as the entry point for tests for the VM. So run will take a list of VM instructions. So this lower is this function, and it's basically converting tokens which get spit out by the parser eventually. It's converting these into the equivalent VM sort of bytecode instructions. We have two lowers, so we take our input string, we run it through the parser. This parser will turn it into, originally it turned it into an expression. An expression can contain sub-expressions, so really an expression tree. Now it turns it into a program which consists of expressions or statements. I might tidy it up a little bit today. So you really get this effectively an abstract syntax tree coming out of this. And then this lower is taking that abstract syntax tree and turning it into a list of tokens. So like tnum for a number plus its value. I don't really know why I have two lowers. I'm not quite sure why in this version we went from an abstract syntax tree into a stream of tokens and then those into a list of bytecode opcodes, rather than just having this lower spit out the opcodes. But I guess it does give a kind of detachment between the two. So it means we can kind of put more stuff in between, I guess, is what I'm going for. So we could do extra pieces of work either on the AST directly or on the list of tokens or whatever you want to do. And then this final lower is the one that's actually going to generate the opcodes. Maybe worth renaming that later. Okay, so that's kind of fine. But obviously the parser is very limited right now. And we don't have anything for emitting tokens to do with assignment or to do with functions. We also don't have any way of we don't have any syntax yet for functions, but we also don't have any way of defining things over multiple lines. So if I want to write something like this, I mean, we don't have branching yet either, but we couldn't write this because we only part a single line of input. I guess maybe what I'd like to be able to do today is, at the very least, have something like A equals, or we could even put an expression here, so we could say So move that to center screen. A equals something like 2 plus underscore, doesn't make sense, 2 plus 9. And then I guess it's a very simple thing. You could say a minus 1. So just to be able to do this across 2 lines. And from parser's point of view, you should say this is an assignment of A being the sort of target. I'm just going to quote that for a second. A being the name of the variable we're going to store into. And then it's going to set A to be the expression. And then it's something like plus, don't know why it'd be capital, it wouldn't be capitalized. It'd be plus 2 and 9. And then it shouldn't stop, right? So it should say, okay, we have another thing which is just an expression, and it's need to work out how to represent that, but it's the variable A. Let's say var A. And actually the whole expression is a minus. So whatever the variable A is, and then the value 1. Oops. Something a bit like that. So that means that we can't use the current functionality of the parser where it checks for end of file. So it'll say parse a single input, so either an expression or an assignment, and then check you get the end of file next. We can't do that. We're going to have to say the program is actually a list of things like statements or expressions, and they're separated by new line. I think that's what I want to go for. So back in the parser. Where are we actually parsing here? So here we're saying you parse an expression or a statement and then look for end of file. And actually what we want to do is make this be a single thing. I don't quite know what to call it. Single line, but it's not really a line, is it? It might be a single statement. Let's go to calling it a single statement. Followed by a new line, and then there can be many of those, and then finally followed by end of file. That's where I want to get to. Okay, so I can write a spec for this. So I just see where we are in a minute. Okay, it's just one long spec. That's kind of cool. We can say something like it parses multiple lines. Oops. And then here we can say, I'm just going to say let input be, I'm going to call it input, let me call it program. And then we'll give it, I guess, something similar to that before. So we can say A equals, I can't remember exactly what it was, but maybe 2 plus 9. And then we'll check in a new line, which goes that way. No, where is it? Find it. Okay, let's go like that. And then we'll use it. So we'll say something like A minus 1. Then we can say calc parser of that. This should be, or should parse, sorry. And then something. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be. I don't want it to be a period statement. I want it to be a whole program. And period program is not a constructor, I don't think. No. So I'm not quite sure I want this to be yet, because I think I need to do a bit of tidying up in this file. So I said a program is an expression or a statement, and I'm not sure that's right. What I'm thinking I can do is I can make statements a little bit more inclusive, let's say. So I think either it can be an assignment or it can be an expression. I know that expression, I didn't mean to that. Of type expression. So a statement can either be an assignment. I think in future it might also be a function call, maybe a function definition, or it can be an expression. So a program is not an expression or a statement, it's just a list of statements. Excuse me. So here I think we can just say this, but that's going to require quite a lot of refactoring. Let me say, oops, only one thing I'm saying it to now, so we can say new type. Program is program. Remember this, new type? No, it's not. Why can I do that? Let me just set to data, and it should tell me what to do. So it's complaining because it's indented. Okay, so we can use new type. Okay, so now we'll return a program from a parser, and the program will be a list of statements. And the statement will either be an assignment or an S expression. An S expression. It's going to be an assignment or an expression. I'm also, if I can, going to grab this. I just want to reorder the file a bit. I want this to be up here, because this is the main thing the program does. Okay, so the calc parser, which returns a program, this is no longer appropriate. So I think I want a statement parser. Which is going to be, oops, of type parser of statement, I guess. Unsurprisingly. Keep hitting the button. Just going to say statement parser equal to, and I need to work out how to parse a statement. So this is where we say it's either an expression, statement expression, which you want to parse, or it's going to be, I think, just an assignment. For now, we can come back and add other types of statement into there in future. So the assignment is going to be passign. Okay, something like that. And then here, I think, and then I think we then want end of line. Okay, can let that. That's fine with me. So each statement is line, is new line terminated. And then I think here we can say this is, instead of parsing that, we can say, oops, it is many. I think many is what I want. Many statement parser. Don't like the name statement parser. Just going to quickly name that to be p statement. Oh, I can't call it p statement because I think I already have one. Okay. Yes. Okay, so p statement I'm just going to get rid of. P assign already exists. Identify already exists. These I'll have to come back and deal with in a moment. So can I now rename this, or is it still not going to let me do that? That's jumping to the error. Let me do that. Can I call this p statement? I cannot. I do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. So many statements. So there are a bunch of, there's going to be a bunch of problems with this. So a program is going to, lower up some program is going to be equal to mapping of lower prime over p. So we can get rid of p from there, where lower prime, oops, now this is going to go from a statement to a list of collect tokens. I can say lower prime given an expression. That's equal to lower expression. And then let me just get rid of the errors for a second. So now, oops, lower prime of assign to the case. And the assignment has got the name and the value, but we're not doing with it yet. So I can just say it's empty. Pretty much. Pretty much type list of statement with program. No. I wonder what the shortcut is for showing that. So you can change that from list of statement to collect token. Ah, sorry. Program's got a constructor, so it's program statements, and then that's what we actually lower. Okay, and that's not quite right because now we get a list of tokens, and is it intercalate to flatten it? Don't know why I just call it flatten. Intercalate takes. Why does it take a list of A's, a list of A's? Oh, intercalate is not what I want. I don't think it intersperses stuff. I want. Oh, I want Google. So I'm going to go from a list of A. No, I'm going to go from a list of A to just a list of A. Concat. Okay. I think it's all I want. So it's concat of that. I might use concat map. Thank you, because I didn't know it existed. Okay, that fixes this type error. All of my tests are going to be broken now because they all expect it to return something of type single P expression, and now it's going to be a program containing some stuff. So it's going to take a while. Oh. An empty program. Oh, okay. So it's going to take a while. This will return p.program of s_expr. All right. Let me exporting here. We are exporting programs, so that's okay. Let's grab all of these. How many have we got? It's not telling me how much selecting. Well, that's all it's got. Okay. We can deal with that. So I want to change this to be p.program. And then it wants a list of statements. There's going to be a single entry, p.expression, s, that. Containing I think that's right. So it's going to program contains a single expression, and this is the expression it contains. Right, so all of these things should just be p.program, I think. I hope this is easy to do. They're all lists of things, not a single expression, a single statement. Let's grab these again. Basically, I think doing this. Come back and do the bracket thing in a minute, and then up here, this is also going to be program in a list of expressions, and it's p.that. Okay, yeah, that's right. Will it remove the bracket for me? It will not. I need to upgrade HLS. I think. Right. End star, capture it. Okay, what we're going to do here, we're going to go to the opening bracket, delete it, and then we'll go to the closing bracket. Let's not do it that way. Let's go to the end of the line and delete it that way. Okay. And then this should be equal to p.program. Okay, I've got 7 errors left. Let's go and find out. It's probably only 6 because it gets confused by one of the spec files. Just go and find them. Okay, so first error. Again, list of statements, it's not a program. So this will actually be program, the data constructor. That way. Okay. Next up, can I just type expression to statement with statement? So what does pssign give me? Pssign will give me a statement. Yeah, these are a little bit of a mess. Okay, so pssign gives me a statement, where the statement is a sign and some stuff. So that should be okay. That should give me back a statement. It's already a statement. Okay. So I don't need to turn the statement back into a statement. I could maybe fix p expression to return this. I don't know. Let me try. So can I do it like that? And it's not going to return an expression, it's going to return a statement. Yeah, no. No, that's just going to make my life difficult. Let's not do that. Okay, back to the errors. EOL is not in scope. Good, we can do that. Megaparsec character. SC is not used. I'll come back to it in a second. XE P statement. What did I used to say? Have I accidentally changed something here? Yeah, it used to say SC and I made it say P statement. Why? I don't know what I did to make it do that. Stop. No. Okay, I think it's got rid of all the errors. So now my parser is returning a program, and the program is statements, and the statement is either an assignment or an expression. Oops. So that. And an expression. Okay, let's get me up. Expression is the standard sort of plus, subtract, multiply, or a number. Okay. It's a bit of tidying up. Does it actually run? It does not. It fails a lot. Okay. So none of my test cases have a new line at the end. So do I want to allow it to be a new line or the end of the input? Or do I want to always put a new line in? I think the parser is easier if I always put a new line in. So I'm going to do that. So we'll go to there. We'll go to there. And we'll stick new line in here. Got a couple more. I need one here. So very pernickety parser now. It requires every line is new line terminated, but I don't think that's a big deal. I hope it's not a big deal. And they also failed. Okay, so nothing is working anymore. Multiple lines doesn't work. I haven't written that yet. We're going to assign A. So this is variable assignment It should be a equals 10, but it's failing with empty line. Unexpected end of input. Thought we were parsing that line though. So I'm not sure why this one doesn't work. So to parse a single statement, here we'll just to quickly check that not going to give me any documentation. No, not that. Don't run one password. What was the shortcode to get to pop up as documentation? It's not going to tell me there what that is. So I can just pop back to here, and I have the definition somewhere here. Compose a new line, end of line, parse control line feed or line feed. So carries turn line feed or line feed. See new line. Oh, hang on. New line character is just \n, right? Yeah. So this should match it. It says either a new line or control line feed, which is \n. So feels like that should work. I could try testing the statement parser directly. Could I? No, not so easily. Is it a bracketing issue? Let's quickly check that. I don't think it is, but we'll check it anyway. Nope, still 10 failures. Okay. So what if we made it just part of a single statement for now, just to see if we can get it working? What? Can match statement with statement. I'm just going to make it be a single statement for now. Okay, so single statement, you should say it's going to be an expression or an assignment for end of line. I guess I never tested this in isolation before I made it multi-line, so that doesn't help. That's not going to work, is it? No, because it's a syntax error. No compiler error. So, oh, okay. Oh, tricky. So I've updated this to always be a list of expressions. It's not the right thing to do. So let's put this back. Okay, let's get rid of assignment for a second. So we're going to say it should be an expression followed by an end of line. If I just run that on its own, that's very annoying. It's not complaining because I'm not using pssign. hate writing parsers. I still don't know how to run a single test other than doing this, but I can do this, so I'm doing it. I just reduced it to a single test. I just want to see what this single test is saying. So parsing failed with the error empty line, unexpected end of input. Or no, oh, I have a suspicion as to what's wrong, but I could be wrong. So I told it to parse this line, and it's gonna try and parse it the statement, and the statement's going to say could be an expression. In this case, 1 + 2, followed by a new line. That's no, that should consume the whole input, and then you should just be left with the end of file. Let's get rid of that for a second. And this for a second as well. Run the test again, see what happens. Okay, so that works, but it doesn't parse multiple lines. So maybe what I could do is I could say it's many statement. I'm just going to move this into a helper. So I'm going to say p statements is a parser for a list of statements. P statements is equal to P statement. In fact, many of these, many statements, followed by an end of line. So here we can say parse all of these, followed by end of file. Okay, and then we can tidy up the brackets a bit. Okay, I'm not sure this is going to work, but we can give it a go. Back to many failures. So which thing is upsetting? Is it end of file or end of line, do you think? It's end of line, it seems. So this should presumably fail because you won't get the end of the file, you will get the new line. No, it's fine. But we can't parse the multi-line thing. Is there a helper for like new lines separated? I think it's in here. But it might be in Lexer. Presentation related stuff. Line fold. What does that mean? Example should clarify usage pattern, okay. Voice space character, line fold. I'm a little bit confused by that. But it does make me think that my SC might be wrong because I said it's space, but actually maybe it's not space, maybe it should be H space. So L dot space is use space 1 as well as your own parser if you don't want to automatically consume new lines, for example. So should this actually be H space? Do we have an H space 1? Okay, so H space comes from here, I think. H space like space, but does not accept new lines or character returns. We got H space 1, that's what we want it to be. So H space 1, and we're going to add it to there. Okay. So I'm going to try again to make consume end of line. Okay, how is this going? Different number of failures, that's interesting. Okay, that's a little bit better actually, I think. So these fail because we don't have an end of line. Yeah, so we expected it to be 13, but actually it's cropping out because it couldn't find a new line at the end of the statement. And then by matching multiple lines fails, which I need to look at in a second. Oh, I know why matching multiple lines fails. It's because I haven't told it how to do this thing yet. So I could say, I give it a number here, I think it will now work. No, it didn't work. Okay, screw that. That's the plan. Let me just go to Calci spec. So all of these, I think I need to new line terminate them. There we go to there, go to there. I think we just say new line there. Bring it down to 1 failure. Okay, that's good, I think. So parser multiple lines, expected empty program, but it failed. So both of these are wrong. The expectation is wrong, but also doesn't seem to work. So in our program, we would like a p.assign, and it's assigning a to the value 2. It should be p.int the number 2, and then it should be an expression, and the expression itself should be p.sub. And see, we don't, I don't have anything to represent this identifier yet. So we need to go and write that. So it should be that, and then the value 1. Okay. Is it new type? Or is it data? Let's find out by writing it. So new type identifier. Oops. That's equal to identifier, and it takes a string, I guess, which identifies the identifier itself. It's text. Take it back. Okay, and then we'll export that. We don't know how to parse that yet. And then down here we've got some kind of identifier. Okay, how to do this? Because I don't want, or maybe I do. It's gonna be annoying. So assignment will get not a token p identifier, but just the value of the identifier itself. But here we wanted to give it clearly a token, which is the identifier itself. Okay. No error. So let me fix these one at a time. So I'm going to change my spec to be easier. So this is just, it doesn't need to be an assignment, right? I just want to start by making it match over multiple lines. So you'd say subtract 1 from 2. So this is actually going to be subtract p.int 2 and then p.int 1. Okay, I think that still doesn't work, but at least we don't need to have another rule for matching it. Okay, so when it gets to the second line, it doesn't work. Whereas 2 minus 1 up here does work. So what's happening? See, can I get that back up again? So unexpected to expected end of input. So what is happening here? Many statement followed by end of line. Does that make a difference? No, it does not. Oh, it does now. Okay, cool. That did make a difference. So I just have a bug in my test. Looks like. Yeah, this is not a equals 2. This is a equals the expression. Okay. So it's the expression s dot plus of int2 and int9. Put that in the center so you can actually see what it says. It's not s dot plus, it's p dot plus. It is correct there. Couldn't match the spec type p dot expression. Where's p dot expr with actual type p dot statement? Oh, okay. The assignment just has an expression. I think. Yes, it doesn't have a statement. Okay. Let's see how that works. Okay, so that passes now, that's good. So we can do multi-line programs. I guess that's good. And then we can parse variable assignment, but we also need to parse variable usage. So this is in a one-liner, but we can say calc parser. And it doesn't need to work yet, it just needs to be able to parse it. So we could say I guess we could just say a-2 or whatever we had before. And that should parse. Okay, it's going to be a program. Single statement, which is an expression. And the expression is p dot minus p dot sub. What was it called? P dot sub. And the first argument to this is going to be p dot identifier of a, and the second thing is going to be p dot int of 2. Okay. And expressions can't currently be identifiers. Okay. Back to parser. So it can be an int, or it can be can I use identifier here? Don't think I can because I'm using it here. That's okay. We can say it doesn't need to be its own type. It's just part of an expression. Okay, that's okay, but we don't match it properly. So this can be an expression, or it can be an integer, or it can be a, I don't want to say p identifier because that already exists and it's not quite right. I don't like the name, but let's just go with it for now. So as well as identifier, you can have p of use identifier. And this is going to be parse expression. So p use identifier. That's going to be equal to identifier is our constructor. And we're going to apply that to p identifier. Okay, I think that should let us say this. Let's find out. Okay. Okay, so in this definition of lower, we don't have a way of lowering identifier. So given identifier x, that's going to be equal to, I don't know yet. Oh dear, that's not what I meant to type. Lower expression of the identifier. That's true, we can just ignore it. We don't have a token to identify using, we don't have a token for using an identifier yet. Okay, so rerun the test. 3 failures, that's more than none. Right. So what's happening now is it's trying to match the expression or an assignment. And when it tries to match the expression, it's seen the identifier, but then is expecting it to form part of an expression. And that doesn't work. So what I think we need to switch the order around. So it's nope. It's either an assignment or it is an expression p-expert. If I bracket it, will it complain that the brackets are unnecessary even though they are helpful? It does not complain. Okay. So we'll try doing assignment first, see if that helps. 1 failure. Okay, so it seems to be one or the other. So this or isn't really working the way I want. Why not? So with mega parsec, if you want something or something else, work with alternatives. I kind of feel like this should work. Just using the alternative here. Don't really understand why that wouldn't work. In fact, either way around, it should kind of work. Because this is an alternative, so it should, if the first one fails, it should try the second one, I think. I thought that's what happened. So choice. Backtrack? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Oh, try. Try is what I want, I think. Yeah, how does that work? Controlling backtracking with try. Okay, this is the problem I'm seeing. So the alternative isn't quite working the way I want. So is it try that or the other one? Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay. And then I want to make well, actually I don't care about performance at this point, to be honest. But generally speaking, I want this to be the more likely to succeed. I think that's the way it works. 3 failures. Okay, it's still not backtracking properly. Interestingly, none of them are working now. Right, this one's failing because of space. So I'm not consuming the space properly after the identifier. This one's failing. Maybe because of space as well. So we're going to say that an identifier is many letter characters followed by some kind of a space, at least one. What's that going to do to my output? This might just be lacking a new line. And now we are not matching the assignment properly because of space after the equal sign. We'll just go a bit tricky. The first one, this one is not new line terminated, so it doesn't work. Does that fix that one? Okay, so 2 failures. That assignment is broken and that assignment is broken. So a equals 10 is broken. And which was the one? A equals 2 plus 9. Okay, so you got space either side. Seems to be failing, but why is this one working then? Oh no, it's not. Sorry, it's stopping at this point because it doesn't work. It doesn't try the rest of them. Okay, so back to here, and then assignment is the identifier. Right, so we don't need to the space here. But we do, I think, still want to eat the space here. Oh, it doesn't have to be a space. I think that's the same down here, actually. We don't have to have a space. You could say a minus 2 without any spaces around it. Let's have a quick look, see how that works. Probably not. Same 2 failures. Okay, so it doesn't like... It's weird, it's actually inside the expression parser. It's not inside the statement parser. So would happen if I flip them around? I don't think it's going to help. It'll just change it to not parsing expressions properly. Oh, interesting. So tries apply to too many arguments. Okay, so let's bracket this up. Nope. Try still applies to too many arguments. Guess that should be or. Okay, so try the assignment or try the expression. I don't think that's going to help. It did help. Okay, good. Not sure I understand it properly, but I'll take it. Okay, so now I can parse multi-line programs and I can parse the usage of variables. So I still haven't started functions. I'll do that next week, but I've made some progress at least. So it's painfully slow, but I can now parse multi-line programs. Cool. Okay. Thanks for watching along. Next week I'll try to take this a bit further and look at functions, some kind of syntax for functions. But yeah, thanks for watching and hopefully see you next week. Goodbye.